Hello, hello, and welcome back to Zotos Workshop, your one-stop shop for crafts, creativity, and just a touch of chaos. I'm Zoto, and today we have a very special episode because we have just hit our 500 subscriber milestone, which is huge! Let's go! I honestly can't express just how grateful I am to each and every one of you for supporting the channel and for helping hit the 500 milestone mark. I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not much on YouTube, but for me and for the channel, it was a huge milestone, and I'm super appreciative and thankful to all of you. As a token of that gratitude, I let you choose what Pokemon we were going to make for this video, and you chose SUICUNE. But just a moment, and let's give an honorable mention to the other options. But SUICUNE did come out on top. And don't fret, if you didn't get to vote in this poll, there will be more opportunities down the road. The next one is coming at the 1,000 sub mark, and we'll be voting on whether to do Entei or Raikou. So one of those will come at 1,000 subs, and the next will be at 1,500. So if you want to see those, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with other people so we can make that happen sooner. I won't hold you any longer. Let's go ahead and make SUICUNE. Alright, we are going to be kicking SUICUNE off here with its iconic crystal headpiece in the left-hand corner. Then moving over to the body, which has an internal and external pieces. The internal is the body and head, and then the external pieces just give it a little bit more body. Then moving on to the hair, which is a random assortment of links just to make sure that we get that good flow. The tail is 2 different sets of 9 links. The legs are each 8 link pieces. Again, we have the sides of the body over there, and then the head is going to be made up of 2 different 3 link pieces. Alright, to kick off the actual welding, I quickly tack the spaces in between each of the link. This is the internal body headpiece, and then in the right hand corner we have that crystal headpiece. Now we are going to be attaching the headpiece onto the main part. SUICUNE's body has just this one internal section, and then it's going to have the 2 different 3 links that are going to make up the size of the head. So as we add those, you can already see it kind of coming together. Now, I don't typically add eyes, but that gap that's in the middle there kind of sets a space for it. Now that we have the headpiece on and just generally the head is already made, we're going to go ahead and add the extra body to the body. So again, we have that internal piece, and now we're just going to shape up these 2 external link sets, I guess, that are each 12 links. And again, it just gives the body a little bit extra shape, size, and gives it that form that SUICUNE generally has. This will include a little bit of a bigger front of the body where it narrows down into that sweet little booty to have those 2 nice long tails. I welded the first one and then lined the second one on top so that we could make sure that they had the same form, and now that they're all welded together, we can just go ahead and quickly tack them on to the main part of the body. Just a quick little adjustment here, and there we go. Now that we have the 2 bottom tacks on, we can go around, quickly add some securing tacks, and we're good to go. So for the legs, again, we're adding quick little tacks, which is just a short weld between each of the sort of outer links on the chains. For the legs, I went through a few different designs, but this is the one that I settled on, and I think it turned out pretty good for SUICUNE. The front leg is actually a little bit taller than the back leg. It's hard to tell here, but that back leg is just a tad bit squattier. And if you want to see some of the other designs I use for this, you have to go and check out Patreon. Now that we have all 4 legs tacked on, and we know it stands up fairly well, time to add the tails. SUICUNE has 2 sort of ribbon-like tails, and for these I used different 9 links and kind of just shaped them in a fun way that would wrap around the body. Now I will say that for this particular design, I think it worked out well, but if I make this sculpture again, I will end up making those ribbons just a little bit longer and a little bit more flamboyant because, come on now, this is SUICUNE we're talking about. It needs those long ribbon tails. Now that we have the main body all done, it is time to add the flow. So again, for this, I used a multiple set of 6 links, 4 links, 3 links, 2, pretty much all different shapes and sizes, just slowly adding them on. And this was a little bit of an iterative process, figuring out what I liked and just kind of going through and adding them separately. And so I'm going to show you how I put the first couple on here, and then the rest is just going to be a magic snap of the fingers, and you'll have to see that in a minute here. But basically, I just take these different pieces, I weld them individually, and start adding them on wherever I think they look good. If y'all can't tell, I take a very, very scientific approach to my sculptures here, making sure that they're perfect in every way, just like my talking. So that's just a quick example of some of the ones I put on there, and I couldn't find a great way to record the rest, so here's our raw chain with the final flow too. Let me know what you think about this form unpainted, and tell me what you think of that flow, because I personally think it do look good. Again, we have those sort of long tails that I would like to make longer in the future, but until then, let's add some paint, left side, right side, vice versa, depending on which way you're looking, and some of these finer details. Now for the fun part. When making this flow, and that's what I just keep hearing, it's the hair, the flow, whatever you want to call it, but it's SUICUNE, so it's the flow. I did not realize just how difficult it would be to paint all of it and to get in those like tiny little cracks and crevices. So even though I hand painted all of it this time, I think next time I will most likely tape different parts off and actually end up spray painting the hair as well, finding a good purple, and then maybe just touching up different points I couldn't get to, or just adding some purple hand paint for additional design or depth. Now for the tail, it's white. Whenever you're painting white on a color, it's going to take a whole bunch of layers, and that is the same here. So I'm adding the first layer in here, and it did take 2 or 3 layers just to sort of cover up all the blue and to get it to that closer to pure white looking. Gotta make sure to get the undersides as well. One of the hardest parts here again is just getting between all of the different sort of cracks and crevices of these chain links. The flat sides really aren't too bad, but I'm trying to make sure that you can get in between them so that you don't have colors showing up where you don't need them. So we're going to continue with the white here, going on to the head and the front of the body. This part really is not too bad. It is just making sure that I paint SUICUNE how it's supposed to be painted and not adding or forgetting any little details, which is a kind of tricky subject when you're painting bike chains because you have limited area that you can paint, and sometimes you just kind of have to make some things work. Got to make sure to get the underbelly here as well. Starting with the middle chain, kind of branching out from there, and just trying to take my time so I don't get paint on things that aren't supposed to have paint on them. Inside of the legs as well. This is one of those sort of trickier spots where you don't think about it until you're actually painting. You're like, oh yeah, don't forget that. The side pieces here were a little bit weird because, again, with the chains, I do have these big holes right where there's supposed to be some type of paint pattern, which would be SUICUNE's sort of white diamonds on its legs. So this was the best bet I could do and the closest attempt. So let me know what you think and how it turned out. Now just got to add them onto the other side as well, and can't forget to add the sort of smaller diamonds, which again I turned into circles just because they kind of looked better on the links, being able to cover that whole length instead of trying to do a very small square there instead. So once all the white is done, I'm gonna move on to the crystalline headpiece here. I used to think that it was the same color as the rest of the body, but quickly realized that it was not. It needed to be represented a little bit differently. So found some grays, blues, and tried my best to make it look as crystalline as I could for paint. So there we have it, our final painted SUICUNE sculpture. Would love to hear what you think about it. We've got this majestic purple flow. We've got the little details on the white diamonds, that tail. Look at that shiny, shiny blue. Such a beautiful, beautiful dog. I still think dog is debatable, but you know, they're legendary dogs. So again, if you want to see Entei and Raikou, help me hit that 1,000 and 1,500 sub mark, because those are going to be the next two coming up. So there you have it, SUICUNE, the celebratory 500 sub sculpture. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for helping support this channel. It really means the world to me, and if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be making these videos. I love making these projects, but it's really the engagement and the feedback that I get from you that pushes me to test my limits, make new sculptures, and just keep pushing this unique, creative style forward. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and leave in the comments what Pokemon you might want to see in the future. Two quick reminders to wrap up this video. The first being that our next poll is going to be at 1,000 subscribers, and we'll be voting on whether to do Entei or Raikou. So make sure to subscribe and share this with your friends so that we can hit that sooner. The second being, if you really enjoy this channel and you want to help support just a little bit more, consider checking out Patreon, link down in the description below. Starting at $3 a month, you can get access to works in progress, announcements, behind the scenes, and you can even vote on some of the smaller week-to-week projects that I do. So if that sounds interesting to you, again, go ahead and check it out, link down below. So with all that, thank you, and remember that your feedback, your engagement, it's what keeps this channel thriving. Share this, like this, do whatever you want to do that shows your support, and until next time, sign off with a Totodile smile.